you're probably already familiar, an autoclave, or steam sterilizer, functions through the application of highly pressurized saturated steam. You may also know that autoclaves come in a number of different shapes and sizes, but what you may be learning now for the first time is that there are different ways that autoclaves create and maintain heat and pressure. In this video, I'll be going over two main types of steam sterilization: gravity or gravity displacement, and vacuum-induced or pre-vacuum, also known as pre-vac sterilization. Most autoclaves fall into one or the other category, though some use a combination of these different sterilization methods to sterilize. By understanding the difference between gravity and vacuum autoclaves, you can understand which types of media require which type and make a decision on the autoclave sterilizer that's right for you and your operation. The first of the main two types of steam sterilization is gravity autoclaving, also known as gravity displacement autoclaving. This is the most basic form of autoclave and involves creating steam inside the autoclave chamber, which displaces ambient air and forces out of the exhaust valves. This replacement of the air in the chamber gives it the name gravity displacement and is also sometimes referred to as downward replacement because the relatively cooler ambient air travels downward and is forced out of the autoclave. Through the replacement of ambient air with pressurized steam, items inside the chamber can be sterilized effectively due to heat being applied to the surface through pressurized steam that saturates the autoclave chamber. Because of this, gravity autoclaves are suitable for sterilizing the most common laboratory media, including steel utensils, glassware, liquids, and bio-hazardous waste. This is because these items only need the steam to come into contact with the surface and do not contain any unreachable pockets and spaces within. Vacuum or vacuum-induced autoclaves, also known as pre-vac autoclaves, allow for sterilization in harder to reach places through a vacuum mechanism. In these autoclaves, a vacuum pump evacuates the ambient air within, allowing high temperature steam to penetrate and sterilize areas that would normally be occupied by ambient air. Through this vacuum replacement function, these autoclaves can sterilize certain items with hard to reach areas within. As mentioned, you'll want to use a vacuum autoclave with porous items or items that have hard to reach spaces. This includes, but is not limited to, fabrics and bedding, polyethylene products such as syringes, or wrapped dry items that have air trapped inside, such as sterilization pouches that contain surgical tools. As mentioned earlier, your choice of an autoclave system will depend on the items that you'll be sterilizing. Overall, gravity autoclaving is highly dependable and advantageous in the simplicity of its design. The lack of dependency on complex mechanisms to displace ambient air with steam makes these autoclaves more dependable and affordable as well. As mentioned, most autoclave media do not contain spaces or obstacles for steam to penetrate within, so if you're autoclaving basic laboratory equipment made from metals, glass, plastic, or liquid media, the basic gravity displacement autoclave is the recommended type due to its reliability and low cost. On the other hand, if you're autoclaving items that are porous or contain hard to reach areas, such as fabrics or wrapped surgical kits, you'll need a vacuum mechanism to make sure that the steam penetrates your media completely. Though you may now know what type of autoclave is suitable for your needs, you'll also need to assess your throughput capacity, available lab space, and access to electricity, water, and house steam. Due to the simplicity of the gravity autoclave, which requires a heater, intake, and exhaust valves, there's a great range of designs, including front and top loading types. Top loading autoclaves, like this Tomy SX series autoclave here, is advantageous because its vertical design maximizes loading capacity, takes up little floor space, and doesn't require any steam or exhaust connections. All it requires is a small space to put it, a source of electricity, and you're good to go. This autoclave is also advantageous because it requires less energy and leaves a smaller carbon footprint than a typical giant autoclave. The Tomy SX series autoclave comes in 50 liter and 70 liter sizes, which strikes a great balance between high loading capacity, low energy use, and is a great choice for small labs that need large throughput but don't want to go overboard with a huge, inefficient autoclave. I hope that I've been able to effectively introduce the differences between gravity and vacuum autoclaves so that you can make an informed decision about which type is right for your lab. To learn more about autoclaves and how Tomy autoclaves can be the perfect match for your operation and save you lots, please visit tomy.amuseinc.com and feel free to contact me with any questions that you may have. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.